Hi, my name is Burton Green. I'm a bankruptcy attorney. There are a great many myths floating around among the public about bankruptcy that sometimes deters people from seeking a bankruptcy when maybe the bankruptcy is the most appropriate remedy for their particular financial situation. In this video, I want to talk about some of these myths. The first one, many people are concerned everyone's going to know if I file bankruptcy. While it's true that bankruptcy is a public record, it's not published generally, and most people are never going to see it unless they go to the bankruptcy court to look up something. So most people do not have to worry about filing bankruptcy and then having their neighbors, their friends, their coworkers know that they filed. Another myth is that if you file bankruptcy, you're going to lose all of your property. Well, that's just simply not true. There's some property, depending on what you have, that may go to the bankruptcy court, but we don't know that until we look at everything, because you have exemptions of property that is not part of your bankruptcy estate, and you may be able to do some pre-planning to remove some property that might otherwise go to the bankruptcy court, but we can make it exempt to where it's not a problem. Another myth is that your credit is going to be ruined forever. Well, that's not true. After you receive your discharge of your debt, which is the purpose of bankruptcy, you will begin immediately to build up your credit again. You are, in fact, in a better credit situation than you were before, because now your debt to income ratio is much greater because you no longer have all that debt that you were worrying about. People say, well, if I file bankruptcy, I'm going to be embarrassed. Everyone comes to me and feels that way. They feel that they've made mistakes, they shouldn't have put themselves in this situation, and they're embarrassed. But believe me, there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that have to go into bankruptcy every year. You don't need to be embarrassed by being caught in a financial situation. What I generally tell most of my clients when they start talking in this direction is I remind them that they made many decisions earlier that at the time were probably good decisions, but things happen. They could have lost a job, the economy collapsed, the real estate market fell, they got some medical problems. You now have to look at your situation as it is today. Don't worry about the past. Now you just make what appears to be the best decision given your current situation. Another myth is that people believe that after bankruptcy, the creditors who are discharged in the bankruptcy can still come after them and can still harass them. That's not true. Once your petition is filed, even before the debt is actually discharged, creditors are enjoined. That means that they are stopped from taking any steps whatsoever to collect on their debt. They can't make telephone calls, they can't send you dunning letters, collection letters, they can't garnish your wages, they can't do any of that. They're out of the picture once you file. Some people want to know, and they think that if they file, their spouse has to file with them. Well, that's not true either. Even if you're married, you can file for bankruptcy, and your husband or your wife is not required to file with you. They would file normally if they have some of the same debts of yours, because you're going to want to have both of you discharged of your debt. But in situations where the primary debts are all one party and not the other, then we just file the bankruptcy for the party that has the debt. Now, there's also confusion on whether or not after bankruptcy, if all your debts are discharged, meaning you no longer are obligated to pay those debts. And the answer to that is not necessarily. There are some debts that the bankruptcy code says are not dischargeable in a bankruptcy. Things like unpaid taxes, student loans, monies owed to a child or previous spouse for child support or spousal support, and some others. But in general, your normal consumer debts, credit cards, unsecured loans, medical bills, judgments that have been obtained against you, all of those are dischargeable in bankruptcy. I've also heard that some people think that filing for bankruptcy is very difficult and that a great many people who file do not actually receive their discharge. That's not true either. Filing bankruptcy is not the simplest thing to do, but that's why you would have an attorney to walk you through all of that. But for the most part, most people are going to get discharged. If there are problems in your case, hopefully your lawyers picked it up before you file. But if there are problems where a creditor complains about a debt having been incurred through fraud, or that you didn't include everything in your schedules that you should have, those people, if it's proven, are not going to get a discharge. But that's a very small percentage. Most people just do not have to worry about that. Now, filing for bankruptcy can be difficult, and you should confer with an experienced attorney if you're considering filing bankruptcy. Call my office, schedule a free consultation. Let us review your situation and decide if bankruptcy is really the appropriate remedy for you. Thank you.